that in a town right outside of Pittsburgh, a fan, after I defeated Ivan Putski, the beloved Polish power Ivan Putski, in a match about 70 miles outside of Pittsburgh, Polish country, good Polish folks. There was a fan who was sitting in the balcony. After the match, I cheated and won and defeated Putski, and I was walking back to the locker room, and this fan had got up out of his seat, and he was such a fan, he kept all of his ticket stubs as mementos to being at these wrestling matches, and he left the balcony, went downstairs, and caught up to me as I was just ready to enter the locker room, and attacked me from behind and hit me in the back of the head with such force, and he was a pretty good sized guy, with such force that it knocked me against a wall. And when I bounced off the wall, I turned around and I saw this fan enraged coming out at me. So I immediately smashed his face in, kicked him in the groin below the belt, and dropped him to his knees and beat the hell out of him to defend myself. Well, they pressed charges against me for assault. And when we went to court in this little town outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, eventually we had to go to court because I was sued for assault. And of all things, here I am, superstar Billy Graham with 22-inch pythons, and I walk in the courtroom, and the judge presiding over the courtroom had no arms. You heard me right. He had no arms. He used a pencil in his mouth to flip through the pages of the law books while we were conducting this court case in this lawsuit. And my attorney asked the defendant, I was the defendant, he asked the gentleman who attacked me, he said, "Where were you sitting, sir, when you decided to get out of your seat and attack superstar Billy Graham? And did you hit him from behind?" He said, "Yes, I did." He said, "I was sitting 2 rows from the top of in the balcony, from the top, the last row." And so my attorney said, "In other words, you got up out of your seat, left your seat in the balcony, walked down purposely through the balcony to the main floor into the locker room area and purposely attacked superstar Billy Graham." And he said, "Why?" My attorney said, "Why did you do that?" And the village idiot who attacked me said, "Because he beat Ivan Putski and he cheated to win, and I love Ivan Putski. He's my hero." And so I attacked. I had to attack superstar Billy Graham. So with that statement, he just sealed his doom, and the case was closed, and the WWE gave him $2,500 and paid for his dental repair bills, because I knocked out half of his teeth when I kicked him in the face and broke a lot of broke an orbital bone, and they paid all the financial bills, and so there was a lot of anger in the beginning over me being the new champion. The night of April 30th, 1977, when I defeated Bruno Sammartino in Baltimore, Maryland, when I won that belt by cheating, there was absolutely disbelief to begin with, and then there was pandemonium breaking out. And I grabbed the belt, held it above my head to take photographs. George Napolitano, my dear friend, was there taking photographs I tipped him off that I was going to take the title, and drove down from New York to Baltimore with George Napolitano, the great wrestling photographer. And as soon as I got the photos for George holding the belt, I wrapped the belt around my hand, and there was so much pandemonium in the building, they forgot to turn the house lights on. The guy working the house lights was so irritated and upset that all the fans had closed off the aisle. There was no restraining anyway except a little bit of a rope on a cement base, and they had closed off the aisle, the exit for me to get out of the room back to the locker room. So I had to take the championship belt and wrap it around my hand and begin to twirl it like a helicopter. And on the way out, I was being punched, kicked, spit on, and someone took the time at the end of the line to urinate into a cup of, emptied the cup of beer and took the time to urinate into a cup of beer and threw the urine in my face as I made my way out. So there was complete rage over the fact that I had stolen the championship belt from Bruno Sammartino.
And I guess you had one fan attack incident there where you saved Dennis Condry's life, I guess, with a hockey stick.
Yeah, Dennis and Phil was in a ring and nobody could get them out, and you know, there's a lot of hockey sticks over there because they get broke, and I'd grab one up, and I had a lot of fans over there I did hit with hockey sticks. I mean, you know, but they was in the ring and they wasn't gonna let them out, so I took the hockey stick and started swinging it and cleared them away, because that thing makes a bad sound, you know, yeah. You know, and it'd get them out enough, and they got out of the ring and got to the dressing room, and they both said, Phil Hickerson and Dennis, and man, you saved our life. I don't think it was that big, but you know.
The fans are crazy there, because I even actually had some fans attack me there about 10 years ago.
Yes.
Edmonton, New
Brunswick. Yeah, Edmonton, yeah, they will. Yeah. Hey, they will attack you now. I mean, yeah. I went to Campbellton. I took my wife and daughter over there. I think it's Campbellton, an island over there.
Yeah.
And the guy jumped up the ringside and he said, "I'm going to kill you, Schultz." And I said, "Well, come on." He started through the ropes. Boom, I nailed him. He went on the floor. I jumped out. It just happened his head hit the post after I kicked him and knocked him out. So they bring the paramedics, they ring the bell, bring the paramedics, and I get out of there and get to the dressing room, get a shower real quick shower, and my wife and daughter was trying to get to the car, and they were standing at the back door, and the police wouldn't help them out or anything. So I said, "Hang on just a minute, let me go get my old hockey stick." I went and got the hockey stick and got them to the car, put them in the car, and took off and hit 2 or 3 people. Yeah. But they were just ricocheting off, you know. They were, you know. But that boy was still laying there. The ambulance was taking him off. I don't know what happened to him. Several of them got carried off in ambulances over there.
I guess you didn't have a gun when you wrestled in Canada?
No.
For the most part?
No.
No. It would have been important in the U.S., I assume, back in those days to carry a weapon with you of some sort.
And you know, used to, we carried rifles in our truck in the window. I mean, we just put them in the window. It wasn't all this big problem we had. You know, we used to go out and fight every week. Nobody had a gun.
Yeah.
Nobody had a knife. I got a problem with you. Hey, we're going to fight Friday night. We're going to do it at Wells Park. Everybody be there. Word to get out. Man, you draw a big crowd. And you go out there and fight. And when it's over, hey, we go back to school next week. We're playing ball together and everything. It's over, you know. And if we want to redo it, then we'll redo it, you know. But it's kind of fun, you know. Yeah. We had something to do, you know.
Did you catch what happened to Bret Hart at the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about. I don't know if that was real. Is that some kind of storyline, or what was that about? We was just talking about that too. Road Warrior Animal was just over. We was talking about it.
Were you surprised that the fan was able to take Bret Hart down?
No.
You had a habit of getting fans to riot-like situations. You were telling me you actually were stabbed by a fan in Puerto Rico once.
Yes, it had been, I was wrestling Pedro Morales. I was for Carlos Colon. Pedro just left from the territory from Vince McMahon. He came to the island, Puerto Rico. He's from Puerto Rico. And I worked a little program with him, and we get the match going, and we outside, fighting outside, and the old man, slide me here, I didn't see. And Pedro say, amigo, you bleeding? We both bleeding. I mean, forehead. I said, yes, sir. I'm bleeding. No, your stomach. I look down, it just poured down water, like water. So the old man slide me, and the security bring him. I say, Mr. Barber, what do you want to do? Oh, man, I look at him, he's about 60 years old. I let him go. This man was so scared because he will start crying. I said, just let him know. It's just, I consider him as my grandfather, he's just a fan, Maybe he was too excited and Pedro is one of their heroes. I was a hero and that's what happened.
Wow. Can you show us the scar?
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I'm not safe yet to show, but yeah.
Yeah, no, you can see it. It looks pretty deep.
Yeah,
You're lucky.
Now, I know the Freebirds were attacked a lot with all the heat you guys had. Could you share any of your fan attack stories?
With Michael and I didn't have too bad a time with the fans attacking. I had trouble in Texas, for instance. I remember Laredo, Texas. Chris Adams and I had a match. Patty was, of course, at ringside, and it was a sellout down there on the border. And I always had to keep a close eye outside the ring on Patty because people would come over the fence, come over the barricade and attack her. It's happened several times. Once in St. Louis, I heard a big smack. And I looked around, I didn't see her. So I looked around all the corners and I finally seen her, and she's on the floor with this big woman weighing about 230. And they're having a shoot down there in between the railing and the ring. Gosh, dog, it was in Laredo. They had, again, she got picked up by the people and they were actually carrying her out back. It was at a fairgrounds and they were carrying her out back over their head, and the guys had to empty the dressing room to come and get her, baby faces and heels actually at the time, because they were taking her away, and nobody. It was a big fight to get to her and get her, and then get her back in the dressing room. That was a major fight, and then of course I was stabbed one time in the Australia in the back. I was food poisoned twice too, rat poisoned. Nearly killed me twice.
Or about the stab in the back, that seems pretty serious.
Yeah, Australia had a riot and got stabbed over my kidney back here, probably about 2 inches. Didn't puncture any organs, but yeah. And back in the day, it was not uncommon to have those kind of riots, as because the people, they got into it and they would hit the ring. And I've had them hit the ring and, like I say, getting stabbed and getting my hair pulled out by the roots, and have to fight your way back, to the dressing room. Nassau Coliseum in the Bahamas, Sweet Brown Sugar and I was in a title match for the Bahamian title, which I didn't want nothing to do with because I knew there was going to be a riot. When they said that I was going to get the title in the Bahamas from Sweet Brown Sugar, and I was, in order to get it, I was going to have to screw them for it. So that was going to involve a massive heat. And boy, we did. I screwed them and I took the title, but they closed the barricades in on the ring and they hit the ring, and we had to fight with police dogs and the police, and we fought our way back to the dressing room. It was terrible. Then we had to sit around for a couple hours after it was over, and so we had to walk. It was a setup from the Nassau Stadium Coliseum. We could walk to the hotel. It was that close. Well, that was okay under normal circumstances, but this particular night when I'd screwed Sweet Brown Sugar for the title and waited 2 hours for the crowd to dissipate, the police and the dogs were walking me back to the hotel. It was about 2 blocks. And there were people hiding in the bushes with slingshots, and they would take the rocks from the road And as we were walking, I'd get hit with these rocks from the slingshot, and it would just blister and bleed. And actually, by the time I got back to the hotel, I was sick to my stomach, and I was a mess because they just shot the shit out of me for 2 blocks.
Oh, her and the girl have gotten into it.
What in the world?
They got
Is that a fan?
Yes.
See what happens. Uh-oh, somebody yanking at his rope. Look at him kick at him. Hey, wait a minute. That's an Andy Frame guy who's trying to protect you, George. Men all around him here. Uh-oh, look at him take in on Gorgeous George. I have seen an ugly crowd.
In the year and a half since they have held the Tag Team Championship of the World, this was one of the most brutal bouts ever by the devastating Road Warriors. Afterwards, we had the opportunity to talk to Precious Paul Ellering and his menacing Road Warriors.